Time for the war on drugs out west. The crop is as high as an elephant's eye, so are the people who smoke it. So are the illegal profits. Jerry Bowen reports tonight on the high-tech battle of wits over stamping out the bad seed.
It's been a bad year for the growers of California's #1 cash crop, marijuana. The recent fires here are estimated to have consumed millions of dollars in plants.
I think the individuals that were hit by the fire probably lost what they had invested, and it could have been devastating to their operation.
And now, at fall harvest time, officers from a multi-agency task force are stepping up their annual raids. Helicopter crews spot the subtle marijuana green in the dense forest, and ground crews move in. Today, the prize is Sensimilia, California Gold, the best marijuana money can buy.
Right here is the most expensive part of the marijuana plant. 1 pound of this stuff will go for approximately $3,400.
This day, agents removed more than $3 million in plants from 5 Northern California sites, along with irrigation drip lines and timers installed by the absentee growers to nourish the crop.
These are referred to as guerrilla gardens, way out in the brush, more remotely planted.
With the increased pressure from man and nature, California's marijuana farmers are having to work harder, not only cultivating, but camouflaging their crops.
I saw them put the plant in a grow bag, which is like a large, hefty bag, in the potting soil, and to stick them in trees.
The pressure in California is causing growers to move not just undercover, but, say critics, to move across state lines. In Nevada this month, authorities found this junkyard concealed a high-tech greenhouse. The 1,500 plants seized represented the state's biggest bust.
They all range from about 6 foot to 8 foot tall.
This haystack in eastern Oregon was the cover for a greenhouse that contained hundreds of plants. Officials in Grays Harbor County, Washington have confiscated so many plants this year, the evidence is being stored in cell after cell of the old county jail. And there's still tons coming in from foreign growers. Mexico, of course, and Thailand. This yacht seized off California carried 29,000 pounds of Thai marijuana. Still, California officials defend their pot eradication program.
We estimate that there's been a 75% reduction in growing since 1983 in the state.
And this year, they say, $500 million worth of plants have been seized. Homegrown stuff that will never get to market, forcing some of the state's sneakiest farmers to get out of the business or get their business out of the state. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Butte County, California.
Drug traffickers are inspired to ingenious ways to grow it and get it to the market. Marijuana in this country is grown in hidden plots, under trees, even indoors. And it arrives from outside the country in every form of transportation. The problem for officials trying to control the traffic, as NBC's Jim Kazurski reports tonight, is that the smugglers keep changing their tactics.
For the first time since 1984, the smuggling of marijuana is on the increase. This 7 tons of marijuana discovered in a Miami warehouse came from Colombia, trucked through Mexico to Florida, the long way around, because marijuana smuggling is back. In recent years, the U.S. drug blockade has slowed the flow of large shiploads of marijuana from South America, but that's made the trade more profitable.
This has caused a shortage of marijuana, and of course, when you have a shortage of a desired product, the price goes up.
It's doubled, in fact, to more than $700 a pound. Smuggling even small amounts of marijuana is now worth the risk of arrest.
Something on the bag.
Marijuana now is a profit. The demand continues to be high, and we're faced with another problem, an overburdening problem.
The market for pot is a big one. According to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, an estimated 18 million Americans use marijuana. In Florida, it has become so profitable, people are growing marijuana like tomatoes. A pound of one of the new potent homegrown strains can bring as much as $3,000. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement sends in agents to help understaffed local sheriffs go after marijuana growers. Agents pull up 100,000 plants a year in Florida, much of it planted on state and federal land.
Had we not got into the program when we did, we would have had a problem in Florida that would have reached epidemic proportions by now.
Nationally, the government estimates growers are using more than 1 million acres of federal land for marijuana. The Florida Highway Patrol's traffic control plane was finding so many marijuana plots.
You look right down there, you can see 2 plots right below us, right down there now.
Pot eradication is now a regular part of a trooper's job. 5,500 Americans were arrested for cultivating marijuana last year, but there's plenty of incentive to risk growing pot. The price is high and the penalty light, often just probation. Jim Kazurski, NBC News, Miami.
Has a new case on its hands tonight, and as Channel 7's Ed Leslie found out, it's because of some evidence that may be going up in smoke.
It was one of the biggest pot busts in California this past summer, and a proud moment for the new sheriff of Sonoma County. On June 7th, Sheriff Michelson displayed some of the estimated 1,500 pounds of high-grade Thai marijuana, which had been seized along with gold, silver, and cash. 10 people were arrested from Aspen, Colorado to Sausalito. Now you see it, now you don't. Somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of that dope has been stolen from the almost secret bunker at the former Naval Air Station here by at least 2 people. They obviously knew the dope was in here, unguarded, so in the middle of the night they just came in, dug through about 8 to 10 inches of dirt, cut through about 1/4 of an inch of steel, and simply dropped in. As it turns out, the burglars didn't bring a big enough truck to take the entire contents of the storage bunker, and the deputies have since moved the remainder to an allegedly safer place. And while the burglars are no doubt somewhere puffing, the sheriff is in his office fuming.
We're extremely upset over it, and it's kind of a personal affront to certainly to law enforcement, and our intention now is to devote as much of our personnel as we possibly can to find out, as I said, who these responsibles are, make arrests on them, and hopefully recover the contraband before it gets out into the public.
If caught, the bunker burglars face charges of breaking and entry, illegal possession of a controlled substance, and felony embarrassment of a lawful agency. In Santa Rosa, Ed Leslie, Channel 7 News.